Hello again, everyone, and I've got a very special upload for you today. It's Memorial Day weekend, and we did a video of Salem Cemetery. Now, you won't see it fully decorated for Memorial Day because this video was done about a week ago on maybe May 17th. But we've got a very special tour of the Salem Cemetery. I want to give a very special thanks to Joe Reynolds. Joe walked around with me talking about the various families and the history really of Salem Cemetery. And you'll see several families in there. You'll see the Teeter family headstones. You'll see the Wards, the Howards, the Warrens, Collins, Goins, Burtons, Davis. There's a lot of headstones there from family members within the community. Now, as Joe does this talking, this is he wanted everybody to know this is to the best of his knowledge, and I think he does a wonderful job discussing it. So I hope you'll enjoy this video. And I may have mentioned before, but we do our Resurrection Sunday service from the Salem Cemetery. And so the picture that you had that was posted on the upload, that is from this past Resurrection Sunday. My wife and I went up there early on Resurrection Sunday morning, took that picture of the cross, and you'll see that. And then I've got a couple of other uploads from John McCord preaching there one Resurrection Sunday, and then I'm talking with Johnny Collins as well on a different Resurrection Sunday. So I hope that you will enjoy this. And then I will also add that buried in the Salem Cemetery are Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. Not the famous, not the movie actors, Richard Burton, but we do have our own Richard Burton, and we do have and you'll see that headstone. You'll see Elizabeth Taylor Warren, I believe it is. You'll see her headstone as well. And so I just wanted to give you that. I hope you'll enjoy the video. And again, at the end, you'll see a few pictures from Resurrection Sunday. Enjoy this. Hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend.
All right, well, we've had a couple of requests for a variety of facilities and maybe an additional tour at the Salem Christian Church, and we're right next to the church building at the Salem Cemetery, as you can see, and we're fortunate to have Joe Reynolds with us today. And Joe, what's the significance about the sign that's been put up?
The sign was put up by a former director who's now gone on. He's the only one we've lost so far. His name is, in my generation, his name was Earl Douglas Howard, and he was the son of Garnet Howard and the grandson of Fred Howard, who was an elder at Salem Church.
All right, and we're going to walk on down and kind of ease up the hill here, and you and I were kind of talking ahead of time. We're going down Poozy Ridge Road here, and you were talking about the posts at the end of the cemetery. What did that used to, or what is that area called?
That was the Burton Cemetery, the Burtons. Everyone that's buried in that cemetery, in that little spot right there, where it used to be fenced off. When I was a boy, it was fenced off. They kept it fenced and they kept it clean. The Burtons, and the rest of the cemetery, has lacked it in times. It's grown up, but this never did.
Well, we can see the big Burton on the end tombstone right there. We can see that and see where those posts are with the fence as it kind of goes up. Well, let's kind of move around and turn, and we'll head back into...
I want to check these dates.
All right.
Hell no, they were 31 and 34. I was thinking there was more of them buried here than this.
Well, let's move on up through Salem, and we're on the far side of the building. You can see the building there in the background there. So we'll move up through here, and Joe, if you don't mind, just as we come across 2 or 3 or 4 of them, maybe some of the older tombstones that are in here, and maybe some significance of where we have our Resurrection Sunday services.
Okay, this is a veteran. Elmer Land, who was the son of Shirley Land, died in Germany. And as far as I know, I don't really think he's buried here. He's not, I don't think. If you see, it says in memory.
Gotcha.
He's buried somewhere in Germany, I think.
Gotcha.
But he was Shirley Land's son, and he was a veteran, about the main one that we lost out of this community, killed in well, I don't know what invasion it was, but anyway,
1944. That's
1944.
And as I look through here, Joe, I see a number of Warrens. I see a couple of Teeters that are here. I see some Howards in the background along with other Burtons, and I see Collins. And so they seem to be the predominant families that would be in this cemetery. Is that, am I correct on that?
They're all connected. They're all connected. The Warrens and the Teeters intermarried, and the Warrens and the Collins intermarried. My great-grandfather, Mitch Collins, who was the elder here at Salem, was married to Kate Warren. And also, let's see, we're talking about the Warrens. There were really two sets of Warrens. Simpson, and I can't remember how many children, it was 6 or 7 he had, and he died, and his brother Alexander Jr. married his widow and had another set of children. So a lot of these are half brothers and sisters or half cousins or whatever. Now, William Collins, who was Mitch's daddy, had a daughter named, she was a Howard. She married Lafayette Howard. Let's walk up here. I'm not sure exactly where Lafayette's buried at. We'll get on up here. Now, we got a lot of different people that lived in the community that's buried here. Goins, Davis. Davis is a prominent family in Posey. Of course, we had Virgil, who was a deacon here, and a very well-known deacon, and a good man, and his family still connected here. He got 2 boys that go to church here every Sunday. Oh, let's see, Lafayette Howard. Nancy was his wife's name, Nancy Howard, and Lafayette's son, Fred, who is the father of most of these, or grandfather of most of these, where these tomb rocks are. He had a bunch of boys, and they were all second cousins to my grandmother. Her name was Minnie. We'll get up here to her rock in a few minutes.
Well, I know we do, and I appreciate you mentioning Johnny and Doug Davis specifically and their family that's mentioned here. But we do sunrise service here almost every Resurrection Sunday. We didn't get to actually have it this time due to the current situation, but I wanted to just let everybody see we literally stand right here, and of course the sun, if you will look, there's a beautiful cross right there, and we'll walk back closer to that in a few moments. But on Resurrection Sunday, you should really see as the sun comes up and it shines behind that cross. I know we've got several pictures of that that's probably been shared on a variety of social media posts. But this is where we really do our sunrise service every Resurrection Sunday and really enjoy that. Now, you were mentioning one that was back here that we were going to go see?
Well, my grandmother's buried back here, yeah.
Okay. And what was her name?
Okay, here, let's stop right here now. L.T. Howard, that's Lafayette, and I don't know what the T stands for. And his wife, Nancy, okay? And Fred was their son, and Fred was an elder at Salem Church. And his family, a lot of his family, came to church here. Like I said, Garnett, who was Doug's daddy, and Delbert, and well, there was other ones of them at different times before they moved, and some of them went to Garrett County. But he's the granddaddy, and I don't know if he was French, but that was his name, Lafayette Howard.
Well, one thing, and I appreciate you mentioning the history behind L.T. Lafayette Howard, but going back to the Resurrection Sunday and the kind of the sunrise services that we have, I know John McCord and I we switch back and forth every year of who does the sunrise service, and that's actually the tombstone that we use to stand kind of almost
Behind
we
it,
put our
yeah.
Bibles there, we use it as a podium. So I'm going to walk back there and then just kind of give everyone a view of what we would see as and then again, so we would stand, you know, John or I would stand right here, and then typically, you know, we would sing a song out there, and the people are standing. The people are actually facing where the sun will rise, and then John and I speak from this headstone right here. And I know there's a couple of older ones that are over there, Joe, but you take us to
Well,
one.
that first row is all Warrens. We'll get to them in a minute.
Okay, we'll get to those in a minute. Let's see what else we have back here. Again, in the background, you see the beautiful view from the Salem Christian Church of the area of Poozy Ridge. And how many counties can we see from up here, Joe?
Well, from right here, you can only really see one back that way, which would be, well, way over there is Fayette, and then Jessamine is here, and then Garrett is back here.
Yeah.
So you got Fayette, Jessamine, Garrett.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Now that's my grandfather, mine and Danny's grandfather,
Allie Reynolds.
Allie Reynolds. He had 2 sons and 1 daughter. Clayton was Danny's daddy, Harlan was my daddy, and Clotilde Reynolds married Russell Mobley, and she's got 2 daughters. They had 2 daughters, Jane and Kathy. And Minnie Collins was the daughter of Mitch Collins, who was my great-grandfather.
And Mitch Collins' headstone's here as well, right?
Yeah, now we've walked past it. It's back down there. He's buried where Ma and Pa is buried, Mitch and Kate. He's buried down there. But his son, Obra, is buried up here. And if you look, you see Teeter. Obra's mother was Sally Teeter. And I think she's buried, she may be buried here too. I will look. But that's where I'll say the Teeters all come in. You know, I can give you some history on that, what I found out. Forrest Teeter run a ferry and a sawmill in Garrett County. And Moses Reynolds, and I'm not sure if I'm connected to him or not, but he gave the land for the Guns Chapel Methodist Church, which is right straight through there. If you could see it, it's right straight back that way. So, you know, the Teeters and the Collinses, the Warrens and the Teeters, all interconnected, all intermarried, but, you know, we don't have anybody that's kin to each other.
Well, if you don't mind, let's walk up to one of the older headstones and we'll start wrapping this one up. I really appreciate your time and certainly your knowledge of the cemetery and families and the history of the cemetery here. As we're walking up to some of the older ones, is there anything special you'd like people to know about the cemetery in and of itself, or any other details?
Well, the first row, of course, are all people that I'm related to, and it's what I've already given you some background on. Alexander Howard Sr., and I'm not sure what, his junior, his wife is buried here. I'm not sure exactly what her name was, but anyway, oh, mate. Well, that's a young son. But anyway, Alexander Warren Sr. was the father of Alexander Warren Jr. and Simpson Warren. They're all buried here in a row. And their wife, and we've done seen Richard Burton's tombstone. Now we're going to see Elizabeth Taylor's tombstone. That's Elizabeth Taylor Warren, wife of Alexander Warren Jr., and also the wife of Simpson Warren. And she's the mother, she's the matriarch of all the Warrens. And They're buried here. There's William, who was 30 years old when he died, son of Simpson and Lizzie. If you see, they called her Lizzie. Here it's Elizabeth, but there it was Lizzie, and she was married to Simpson. So this child was buried beside of her, 30 years old and wasn't married. And then, of course, Simpson is buried on down here next to his daddy, I think.
Now, are these some of the oldest that are in
Well,
here?
these go back to the 1883. This one says. That's Sarah. Okay, that's Sarah, and it don't give her maiden name, but that's Alexander Sr.'s wife. So this may be his tombstone. Right here it is. And he was buried here in 1878. And then his boy, Simpson, took him to a corn crib to hide from the law, because he'd got in trouble before the war, and they come after the war looking for him, and Simpson took him to a corn crib and hid him out so they didn't get him, and then he got pneumonia and died.
After all that hiding.
Well, they never did get Senior. He died a natural death and not in jail, so that was the main goal, I guess.
Let's see. Well, we were going to wrap this up. I just, we had this request. I'm going to give